Cool, so we have the teams for you. We have got on Arash's side, we've got Pheromosa. That's something that's fun to see. We've got Tapu Lele, Araquanid, Alolan Ninetales, Incineroar, and a Rangaroo.
And on Pokéalex's side, we got Araquanid, we got Porygon 2, Tapu Koko, Kartana, Salamence, and Muck. Again, another Muck.
Oh, here we go. So, we've got some very unusual Pokemon here. There's a few that we haven't actually seen on stream yet.
We haven't seen like Pheromosa, Tapu Lele on stream yet, but this is a pretty common combination. Pheromosa is known for dishing out a huge amount of damage and being very, very fast. And Tapu Lele saves it from getting knocked out by priority moves, though. So this is a pretty common combination. But Incineroar, we haven't seen that often. It got that...
Not seen at all, have we?
No, and it's not of a common Pokemon yet. Though it got the Fake Out option, it got a pretty unique typing in Dark and Fire. And here we see the opening.
Did I see Love Ball Alolan Ninetales there? Gosh, that's pretty. And that might have been a Love Ball Muck as well. So, here we have the leads. We have Alolan Ninetales and Araquanid on Arash's side. Ninetales, a snow warning going off and setting up the hail. Alejandro leads with his own Araquanid, partnered next to Alolan Muck.
And this is a pretty good lead for Alejandro. Right there, he got that Muck with poison moves. Well...
So Muck can run a couple of different abilities. You never know, we might have Poison Touch, but I think it's more likely that we have the Power of Alchemy ability on these Mucks.
Yeah.
On this Muck. Araquanid has the Water Bubble ability, which has that sneaky, secretive extra effect of doubling the power of its water-type moves, and as we have seen, Ninetales has Snow Warning. Ninetales coming in with the Protect here, as is Arash's own Araquanid. Now, Arash's Araquanid's I was going to talk about speed types there, but Alejandro says not protected. Muck trying to get in the poison jab there, and Araquanid going for the liquidation, double targeting the Ninetales.
Pretty clever to take that Ninetale out as soon as possible. But do not forget the glutamine on Muck might be possible as well for some special berries to heal back up a huge amount of health. And still the ball position didn't change at all. Arash now has to switch out his Ninetales, otherwise it gets knocked out. It gets some pretty neat. Well, the only safe switching he could do is Incineroar, which doesn't get taken out, but Araquanid could just use a water type move in that slot and...
Yeah, definitely. It would be risky. Incineroar doesn't want to be taking one of those incredibly bulky, powerful water moves from Araquanid, but we have the Aurora Veil going up. Aurora Veil is a new move that can only be used in Hail, but it's effectively Light Screen and Reflect all in one move.
Yeah.
Here we have the Poison Jab from Muck going into the Ninetales slot. Ninetales just surviving in there. Oh, but it does get the Poison. So Ninetales probably not going to be around for too much longer. Here we have a lovely flowing water-type Z-move here on Araquanid. We're going to be seeing the Hydro Vortex.
Yeah.
But which one is it going to be targeting into?
I guess the Ninetales. Alejandro wanted to go for a lead as soon as... sorry guys.
It was Arash's own Araquanid that was using it. Going into that Muck and dealing incredible damage, and that is Muck taken down. That's impressive. Muck, especially a lone Muck, is incredibly bulky.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a huge knockout. Now Arash got Aurora Veil up and just trades Pokemon.
I think that was an okay trade. He's got Hail up.
Absolutely.
He's managed to get his Aurora Veil up. His team is now got that extra little bit of bulk just to help him survive some of the very strong attacks that could be coming in from Alejandro's side.
That waterfall did so much damage.
Oh my goodness, yes. But
Liquidation probably, but
here come the Alolan Guardians.
In comes Tapu Koko, and Tapu Koko's Electric Surge activates first, and then we see Tapu Lele's Psychic Surge. Now we know that Tapu Koko is faster, and Tapu Lele doesn't wear a Choice Scarf, which is a common item. And Tapu Lele is now able to dish out a huge amount of damage. Arash already got the Aurora Veil up, so his Araquanid probably doesn't go down to a Thunderbolt coming from Tapu Koko, not boosted by Electric Tyrann, and this is... Arash is doing really good. He's preparing the board to slowly take out some Pokemon from Alejandro.
And I think Alejandro realised this, going on the defensive a little bit, keeping his Tapu Koko protected. Tapu Lele using Psychic, and it was right to protect the Tapu Koko because he's managed to avoid that. Here we have Skull for Araquanid into the opposing Araquanid, maybe trying to get a burn off there?
Yeah, probably he's fishing for some burn. I've never seen a Skull on Araquanid before. Good choice there.
But here we have Alejandro's own Z move. Also on the Araquanid, we're going to be seeing another Hydro Vortex. And we'll just have to see who it's going to go into. Who are we targeting? Is the Tapu Lele?
And this is going to be really crucial. And oh!
It looks like that Aurora Veil important there, but it's not going to matter because the hail is going to deal that last little bit of chip damage and take down Tapu Lele.
What a huge amount of damage. That
almost a
Hydro
shame.
Vortex.
Arash's own hail working against him there.
Yeah, absolutely. So Arash got a pretty good situation, but Alejandro did a really good read. He protected the Tapu Koko, and I guess Arash just thought that Alejandro thinks Arash is going to attack the Araquanid, and mind games coming off, and people usually don't see how much of a mind game really happens on this battlefield. And now Pheromosa comes in, and Pheromosa is just such an aggressive Pokemon, but as we have seen, Arash doesn't have does have the rip. Help me out.
So Pheromosa is the fastest thing on the field. It's the fastest thing in the format. It's probably one of the only things that could be outspeeding Tapu Koko right now.
Yeah, but guys, I'm back.
There we go, Steffi's back.
Ninetales gets no warning, so it's not that likely that Pheromosa got a focus sash, and is going for a poison jab, taking out the Tapu Koko in one hit and boosting the highest static guard, and it's speed.
No surprises there. Oh, but that is a Life Orb Pheromosa.
And
we see Liquidation going into the Pheromosa spot, very powerful, and Pheromosa, unfortunately, as much as it is very fast and very powerful, it is very, very frail. So it's done its work in taking out the Tapu Koko, but it's also been sacrificed, and now Arash's Araquanid is the last thing left on his side of the field.
And still, this is like a huge matchup. I didn't expect to see two Araquanids, and then we got to see Scald from Arish's side, and I think this is a good decision. And now Alejandro sends in my favorite Ultra Beast, Kartana, doing a really good amount of damage to Araquanid, and Kartana is pretty bulky on the defense, on the physical side, so Araquanid is not going to...
But as we have seen, this is an Araquanid full of surprises. We saw it use Scald earlier, and benefiting off that hail, it is using Blizzard. This means that Kartana is not going to be able to survive as long as it would probably like to, but it is still pretty fast. It's probably going to be able to deal out its own damage, and the hail has now stopped, which means Blizzard is not going to be flawless accuracy anymore, and that is a pity for Arash.
Blizzard Araquanid.
Blizzard Araquanid.
I've never seen it, never ever. Well, the format is new, but this is a new set as well. Pretty huge, and the Leaf Blade almost taking it out. Are we going to see a freeze, which would help?
I think it would have to be a freeze at this point. We don't get the freeze, and Alejandro's own Araquanid's going to use Leech Life to take game one.
Whoa, what crazy teams from both sides. I really, really love that. I didn't expect Alex to bring Monk and Araquanid to this tournament. Neither did I expect Arash to bring Pheromosa and Special Araquanid to
Special Araquanid.
That is amazing. That is amazing. That Blizzard probably would have taken out that Kartana, and if he got the freeze, this could have turned the tables around.
Can't rely on that sort of thing. I think he would have had to get the freeze on both of the opposing Pokemon at that point, and that's That's the sort of luck that you've really got to have your fingers crossed for. But it's one of those interesting things. So we have seen all sorts of really interesting metagame calls. We've seen Magnazone yesterday, there with its Magnet Ball to deal with Celesteela. We've seen things like Toxic Arcanine floating around. We've had the Toxic on Porygon 2 as well. People making these calls for these potentially more stalling, more bulky, longer games. And maybe Special Araquanid is another of these early metagame calls.
Absolutely, absolutely. But Arash didn't build a stally team.
No.
I didn't expect Araquanid to like really have Blizzard, have that skull, and he's really going pretty offensive with the Pheromosa Tapu Lele core, which is pretty well known. Then he got this Araquanid Ninetales core, probably covering opposing trick rooms as well, because Araquanid is naturally pretty slow. Then he got his Oranguru. We haven't seen doing Oranguru stuff on stream yet. Like, it's one of my favorite Pokemon, being able to set up Trick Room and instruct really strong moves. And in general, we haven't seen on stream yet. And then we got Alex's team with another Araquanid. We got Muk, as we have seen from Wolf yesterday, a pretty neat choice, and he explained us why he chose Muk. He got Porygon 2 as well, then Kartana and Salamence. Well, Salamence is a thing Alex likes a lot. He really often brings Salamence to tournaments, and it oftentimes pays out, and I'm really curious if Arash is going to go for the hail mode again, or if he's just trying to pick up some knockouts as fast as possible. As we have seen, Pheromosa is able to learn high jump kick, maybe being able to take up Porygon 2 in one hit, because we have seen the life up. And there we see the teams coming up.
We don't seem to have sound this time round, so you guys are going to have to listen to us a little bit more. There we go. There's a little bit of sound. There we go. We get some sound effects. So yes, here we go. We have got Pheromosa and Ninetales, slightly more aggressive lead from Arash's side this time round, and we have Muk and Araquanid once again on Alejandro's side.
Again, this is a pretty aggressive lead from Arash. Pheromosa even learns Blizzard as well, so there may be some Blizzard spam thing from Arash's side, but Araquanid resists Blizzard obviously, and Muk is pretty sturdy and could take out one Pokemon in return if he stands the Blizzard spam.
So obviously we're meant to be commenting on these players' skill, but I also want to comment on their fashion choices. Alejandro, he's got the basic trainer there. He's not done any customization. I really think he could have put in more of an effort into his trainer's appearance for this tournament. Arash, he's the stylish one. He's come in with a stylish pose. He's got his sunglasses on. That's effort. I appreciate that. Important protect there from Pheromosa. More back onto important things. Does take a little bit of hail damage, but similar to last game, we see quite a slow, just a board building first turn. Both players just sort of scout each other out a little bit. Yeah,
Arash is playing it pretty safe. He just wants to see what is Alejandro going to target, and then the mind games begin. Then Alejandro has to choose whether he targets again the same Pokemon or not, and now Arash cannot protect anymore. He has to go offensive, and he better wants to take out one Pokemon to not getting knocked out both.
Well, it's almost certain that Pheromosa is going to be able to get off a powerful attack here. As we say, she is the most fast thing in the format with 151 base speed, which is 21 points above the next one down, Tapu Koko and Crobat and friends. So we see Muk going for Protect, Pheromosa using High Jump Kick. Oh, sadly it was the Muk that protected, and Pheromosa takes that recoil damage.
This was absolutely... I for myself didn't expect that Protect from Muk, neither did Arash. He was not expecting it, and whoa, that was a huge, really huge play. Alejandro takes out the Pheromosa. This is really huge.
And that is such a big deal, because Pheromosa is such a presence and such an offensive threat when it's on the field. To have taken it down so neatly with just a tiny bit of hail chip damage, that's huge for Alejandro. It does mean that Arash has got the Aurora Veil up again, but we didn't see that being so critical in the previous game. We'll have to see if it is more important this time round. We've got Araquanid coming out in place of Pheromosa, this special Araquanid. We might see it firing off some blizzards.
This is... I've never seen a Blizzard Araquanid before. This is like really a odd and creative choice from Arash. But he doesn't look that happy with his Pheromosa being taken out. Excellent read from Alejandro, protecting the Muk, not taking any damage at all, besides some chip hail damage. And now his Araquanid is also pretty dangerous for the Ninetales. Muk and Araquanid may...
Oh, we see Wide Guard from Araquanid here. That is a wonderful tech move to have on it, potentially trying to get past these blizzards that could be coming in. But we see Freeze Strike from Ninetales. That's going to be super effective on the Araquanid. Not quite doing a fair amount of damage, but not a huge amount. Muk, however, is going to do great things with its Poison Jab, taking Ninetales down to the red HP and getting that poison off again. That's probably not going to take Ninetales down this turn, but it's almost certainly going to reduce Ninetales' longevity greatly. Here we see the Hydro Vortex coming in for Arash. We know now that it's a special Hydro Vortex.
Yeah.
It depends on the physicality of the base move that is used from. So Hydro Vortex can be physical or special, but this will probably be Scald Hydro Vortex into the Muk slots.
Let's have a look.
And that is, once again, Muk falling to a Hydro Vortex from the Araquanid.
Those water sap moves from Araquanid are so insanely strong.
Water Bubble is a scary ability.
Absolutely. First, you may overread that ability, but once you try out your Araquanid as on yourself, you see how powerful those water type attacks are. And a really good read from Arash, not going for any Blizzard at all. He plays Araquanid
that
himself.
Was so good.
And he knows that there is the potential from White Guard coming, and this was a good read from Arash.
But here we have Tapu Koko has now switched into the field. Tapu Koko now being the fastest thing on the field. We'll have to see if it can deal out some of the damage that it didn't really get to deal out last time.
Yeah, this is a pretty good situation for Alejandro now. He can easily take out Arash's Pokemon. Arash's Araquanid moved after Muk, so it's really slow, and it gets its attack off last. And
yeah, that's a good shout from him. He's gone for the Dazzling Gleam, not fearing the opposing Wide Guard from Arash's own Araquanid, and it takes down Ninetales. Ninetales would have gone down at the end of the turn anyway, but this means it's not able to get off its own powerful special attack. We have Leech Life from Alejandro's Araquanid, healing back a little bit of its own health. And
we see Surf!
What is this? This is Surf Araquanid, ladies and gentlemen. And that has done quite pleasant damage. It's not quite enough to take out the Tapu Koko. It's got a couple of turns of Hail Chip at the very least there now, but that's interesting. Interesting that Arash didn't fear the Wide Guard this time.
He maybe had to go for Surf to take out both Pokemon. Oh, and there comes a
Rangaroo.
This is going to be interesting. If Arash gets up the Trick Room, and we have seen Araquanid move last, so it's naturally slower than Alejandro's Araquanid. So Arash is trying to get up a Trick Room and to fire off some attacks. He can easily take out Tapu Koko, but he has to think about how to take it out.
This is the thing, because he could go, if he manages to get Trick Room up and get the Surf off with Araquanid, we haven't seen if it has Protect yet, I don't think. He could go for the Surf, and he'd be able to take out both of them potentially, but he would have to be very careful of that Wide Guard from Alejandro's Araquanid. So he might be better off single targeting, but then if he does that, then whichever Pokemon survives gets to use an attack on him. It's all big mind games, but we see Wide Guard going up from Alejandro's Araquanid.
Whoa!
And Taunt from Tapu Koko. And that is a sad Rangaroo.
That is a absolutely sad Rangaroo, and Arash didn't expect that taunt at all. This would have changed the whole thing. Arash would have been freely to fire off attacks, because when Araquanid White Guards, it doesn't do any damage, so Rangaroo could have taken out Tapu Koko, and this would have changed, but Arash's taunt on Tapu Koko is a really huge tag.
Yeah, that was such a good turn by Alex, because he just completely nullified what both Pokemon were about to do on the opposing side of the field. And now he knows that Oranguru, not really known for being an attacking Pokemon. I think Alex probably has this at this point. Oranguru does still have full health, which is very good for him. Oh, and Arash has gone for the handshake, and Alex has taken it.
Arash forfeited, and Alexandra wins our first Swiss game of Day 2 Pokemon International Championships.
Wowee. This tournament is just so full of surprises.
Absolutely. This is the tournament to be in. Whoa. We have seen so many crazy
types are immune to Prankster ability, so alright, but let's jump into the match. We are seeing on the left side Michelle, and on the right side Melvin. Melvin with the Circuitry, Crocodile, Porygon 2, Tapu Lele, Arcanine and Whimsicott. And on the left side Michelle, we are going to see the Porygon 2, Marowak, Tapu Lele, Gyarados, Araquanid and the Circuitry.
Yes, interesting to see Tapu Lele on both teams, because Tapu Lele does set up the Psychic Terrain, which would allow Whimsicott to not really use those status moves like Taunt and Encore, so maybe we're not quite going to see the Whimsicott into this game. But here we are, we're going to lead into this game. Michele Gavelli versus Melvin K. And we're going to see what leads they are going to pick. Melvin is absolutely loving his time in front of the camera right now. What are we going to see as leads? We have very stylishly dressed Melvin K, and we're going to see a lead of Gyarados and Tapu Lele from Michele Gavelli, while Melvin K does go for the lead of Whimsicott and Crocodile. Both sides starting with the Intimidate, while Michele does set up the Psychic Terrain to block the Whimsicott moves. Intimidate from the Crocodile goes first, indicating that the Crocodile is probably faster than the Gyarados, indicating that Gyarados probably is not holding the Choice Scarf, and neither is the Tapu Lele, because the Tapu Lele has moved last in this turn.
Yeah, also interesting to see the half team is kind of the same, because of the Circuitry, Porygon 2 and Tapu Lele, but we see a completely different lead combination here. But we're seeing Crocodile and Whimsicott. Actually, a fun fact, both Pokemon are able to learn Beat Up. So, but Michelle is in a quite more comfortable position, because having about the Fairy type attack, what Crocodile don't like to take actually, and in this format you're not usually running a focus sash on it, so this is the reason, maybe the reason why we see the switch out from Crocodile into Tapu Lele here.
Yeah, it's probably
Psychic Seed.
Wow, the Psychic Seed raising it to the Tapu Lele's special defense, and the Gyarados switches out as well, so both Intimidators switching out to preserve the Intimidate and to reset the attack drop that they got. Well, Porygon does switch in and get an attack boost on the download. Whimsicott does go for a Tailwind, allowing Melvin K to outspeed most of Michele's Pokemon next turn, while the Tapu Lele just goes for the Moonblast, probably onto the other Tapu Lele. But with that Psychic Seed, oh no! The special attack does go down from the Tapu Lele, so the Psychic Terrain is not going to no longer boost that Psychic.
This could be huge actually, because Tapu Lele, when you have the Tailwind in the back, you have the offensive pressure here, and also with the Psychic Seed having the special defense raise. But anyway, having a special attack drop is kind of huge, because now you can't deal as much damage as you want to, and you let Michelle get at least one turn to stall out the Tailwind.
Yeah, but we do see the Shadow Ball on the Whimsicott going for that Tapu Lele. It's going to do a hefty bit of damage, not quite half, but we see the special defense drop, probably putting it in range of another Shadow Ball from the Tapu Lele itself. I believe Michele's Tapu Lele is going to go down this time. It doesn't go down, it holds on with 14 hit points, and we do see the Moonblast going onto the Tapu Lele. Are we going to see another special attack drop? And the Shadow Ball onto the Tapu Lele as well. Does the special defense boost pay dividends? Yes, it does. Wow, both Tapu Lele's holding on with just a slither of health.
What a kind unique turn we got to see here, because we had the 3 Shadow Balls into it, and not even one stab Shadow Ball. It's just like, okay, so much Psychic types, so much Ghost types, let's just put Shadow Ball in everything. And I think if without the special attack drop on Tapu Lele, even with the special defense, I think it would even not taking the knockout, so it's kind of okay.
Yeah, Well, we do see the Tapu Lele on Michel's side of the field switch out for the Gyarados, setting the Intimidate. Doesn't really matter quite as much, and we see a Shadow Ball from the Whimsicott again. I didn't even know Whimsicott could get Shadow Ball, but we do see this Psychic onto the Porygon. It's not going to do quite as much damage as one would hope, more than I thought it was going to do, but we do see the Ice Beam from the Porygon going into the Tapu Lele to knock it out.
Yeah, taking the safe play, not again to Shadow Ball into the Tapu Lele slot. Maybe he's bringing up a resistance or his own Porygon too, so Ice Beam is always was just a fair trade, and always having, if the switch in comes in, the 10% for freeze, you take it.
Yeah, that's true. I can also imagine the Crocodile coming out, because with an Intimidate onto the Gyarados, yeah, here we do see the Crocodile with the Intimidate. But Shadow Ball Whimsicott, I believe that gives it a better matchup against Tapu Lele, which does cause Whimsicott some trouble sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when we've seen, I think we've seen the Tailwind here. Maybe we are most likely to see the Sash set, I would guess, because if he's going to see the more defensive sets, I would be curious if he's going to have another Leech Seed user here, but I hope not, actually.
Yeah, and we see the Gyarados switch out for the Tapu Lele again. These guys are picking their moves very, very quickly. Crocodile is going to protect, and we do see the Shadow Ball onto probably the Tapu Lele slot. It's probably going to go down. Michael nodding his head there, possibly. Knowing that maybe that was not the safest play for him to do. And we do see the Ice Beam into the protecting Crocodile, but the Tailwind does finally peter up, but now the Whimsicott can just set the Tailwind back up again.
Not even set up the Tailwind, also putting the Anchor pressure under to Porygon 2 to just lock it into Ice Beam, bringing, for example, I don't know, Arcanine in the back. And now having a Porygon 2 in front of you who can deal anything of damage, not setting up a Toxic or Recover, you know. It could be also a good position. So I think Melvin like his position right now, but also Gyarados Intimidate off. It's also anything Crocodile don't like.
Yeah, that's true. And the Gyarados can also sometimes hold that Waterium Z crystal.
Yeah, it could. We saw a lot of Gyarados who have actually access to the Z crystals here. Even with or without a drop, I think he would be able to get a knockout in Crocodile.
Yeah, that's very true. But we do see the no switch outs happening, and we see another Shadow Ball from the Whimsicott onto the Gyarados. Are we going to see this Crocodile move? It goes for the taunt onto the Porygon. Mikaela does nod his head here. Maybe he was expecting a Trick Room, and we do see the Waterfall onto the Crocodile. It's going to do a lot of damage and knock it out. The Crocodile does go down, and I believe Mikaela, with his frustration, is going for the Trick Room, but he's not going for the Trick Room. He's going for the straight Ice Beam. It's going to do about half damage to the Whimsicott, a little bit more than half. But now the Weirdness disappears from the field, and taunts can still happen, and encores can happen from the Whimsicott.
Yeah, kind of a big read, what didn't pay off for Melvin here. Thinking about protecting with Gyarados and filling up the Trick Room for, you know, your slow modes. But anyway, I think Zircontree likes the position right now, because maybe we're seeing a Fake Tears by Whimsicott. So a Fake Tears in the discharge, sacrificing your own Whimsicott to get rid of the Gyarados for sure, and Porygon 2 maybe? Depends on the split by Porygon.
Yeah, I mean, Zircontree is a monster in terms of its special attack stats, and I believe with the if Whimsicott does carry the Fake Tears, I believe that Porygon is going to go down without even a struggle. I mean, especially this Gyarados. Well, you just see the Whimsicott protecting here instead. Relatively safe play. We see the Zircontree. Oh, what is going to happen here? We do see the Waterium Z Crystal probably on that Gyarados. Is it going to target the Zircontree? If this does happen and the Zircontree does get knocked out, Melvin K is in a horrible position, but we do see the Hydro Vortex activating. Which target do we see? We see the target onto the Zircontree. Unless it's holding a Focus Sash, it is going to go down, most likely. Is it going to go all the way down? And there's no Focus Sash with a critical hit, but I don't think that matters very much.
No way it matters. But looking into Melvin's face, he was really expecting he was faster than Gyarados, so he's really... this is a very big information for Melvin here, for knowing how speedy the Gyarados is.
Yeah, that is probably a max speed Gyarados against that Zircontree, I think.
It should be, or it's maybe maybe he relied too much on Tailwind, so having your team always with very much bulk and stuff, and not having the right speed for just the middle game, you know?
Yeah, and Melvin K from Singapore does forfeit in that last turn, which means Michele Gavelli from Italy is 1 game up in this set. What do you think Melvin could do to improve his situation in the next game?
It's going to be difficult, man. Actually, both players got the circuitry, but the tailwind is just the thing. When you can't really do anything against the tailwind, so you have to act like, okay, I can do anything against the tailwind, but I can bring Whimsicott to the sash if he's running sash, and waiting for the moment of the last turn of Trick Room and then beat it. And just when you have like Pokemon like Porygon 2, it's always kind of easy to stall out the tailwind, and you have Gyarados with a very good typing and Intimidate. Just switching on, switching off, just wait till the last turn of tailwind, and then without no tailwind, no problem, you see?
Yeah, that's true. If Tailwind really is a problem for Michele, then maybe he should try and knock out the Whimsicott before it gets to set up the second Tailwind in the game. But to recap on these guys' teams, Michele is running a Porygon 2, an Alolan Marowak, Tapu Lele, Gyarados, Araquanid, Zerk and Xurkitree, while Melvin K from Singapore is running the Tapu Lele, the Porygon 2, Whimsicott, Xurkitree, Arcanine and Crocodile. We're going to bounce into this game. Melvin K still surprised that he's on stream.
More surprising about how the camera is acting. Maybe, who knows what the cameraman's doing to him?
That's true, maybe he's pulling faces. But we are going to be jumping into this game, and we're going to see a lead of Arcanine and Tapu Lele on Melvin K's end, while Michele does go for a lead of Tapu Lele and Porygon. So double Lele lead.
Double Lele lead, especially, yeah, man. But Arcanine also likes to stay in Tapu Lele because Arcanine has also a good bulk. So also good HP, good amount of HP, good amount of special defense. So a Psychic Duel shouldn't be so much damage. Moonblast, it's the resistance. So I would say a little bit of advantage for Melvin. Depends on the Porygon set.
Yeah, that's true, and the Porygon does get an attack boost because of the Tapu Lele with the Psychic Seed getting the special defense boost. Michele not looking entirely too happy about that, which means Melvin is going to be able to take a lot of special moves now. I'm
kind of sad not seeing any return Porygon 2 because the most situations you got is like having always the attack boost instead of a special attack, so just like to have this. But anyway. Yeah,
but at this point in time the Porygon has dropped 2 stages of attack because of the 2 Intimidates in these last turns, and the Tapu Lele does go for the Moonblast onto the other onto Melvin's Tapu Lele, and there's a special attack drop yet again. Meanwhile, the Tapu Lele on Melvin's side is going to go for the other Tapu Lele, and it's going to do less than half damage with another Shadow Ball. Everything's got Shadow Ball into the Tapu Lele again, but with the special defense boost, is going to take those quite nicely.
Yeah, and seeing a Crocodile in the back is also a very interesting position. How you act with a Psychic and Ghost-type Pokemon. You always have the Shadow Ball, your Crocodile. This is very interesting to see. But, by the way, we talked about Michele, about his senior Masters in Italy, yeah. They will say this year he was the seniors winner of the tournament, and he also won the regional in Rome, or the Masters division.
Oh! Oh, really? Which season was this? But yeah, in this turn, I suppose Crocodile doesn't quite fancy this position quite as much, so maybe we're going to see it switch out to preserve the Intimidate yet again. And yes, we do see the Crocodile coming out, and yet another Intimidate from the Arcanine. The Arcanine will be able to take a Moonblast quite well. Michele seems to be quite aware of this. We see the attack drops from the Arcanine again. What do we see from the other side of the pit? We see the Z Crystal activating. I believe that is Shattered Psyche onto the Tapu Lele. That is going to be doing a lot of damage to whatever its target is. Yeah, there we go, Shattered Psyche. Tapu Lele goes inside, he's going to concentrate and shatter the Psyche or whatever its target is, and it is the other opposing Tapu Lele really wanting to pick up a knockout before the Porygon moves, and it clings on with just an HP probably, while we see the Shadow Ball from the other Tapu Lele onto the other Tapu Lele. The special attack drop really paying dividends. Meanwhile, we see a Trick Room from Michele's side of the field. I believe that really gives him advantage in this board position.
It gives him definitely the advantage, but anyway, I was pretty surprised about not getting the KO here. But anyway, it's pretty interesting to see how bulky Tapu Lele can be, even if it eats the Psychic Z move in the Psychic field. Anyway, Michele getting the Trick Room on. is an option, but since Tapu Lele stays here, it's like burning one of your trick room, you need all your trick room turns if you're sweeping on it, and surviving with Tapu Lele in the back can always win for Melvin one turn. This could be huge in the end.
Yeah, and we see the Arcanine protect itself while the circuitry switches in for the low health Tapu Lele, and we just see a simple Ice Beam onto that Snot. It would have knocked out the Tapu Lele, and a Moonblast into the Arcanine, maybe predicting some sort of switch outs.
Yeah, the Ice Beam was kind of huge on Circuitry. I thought he was. I know Circuitry isn't the bulkiest Pokemon, but it's decent and it's okay. So it's pretty slow. It was way more slow than Gyarados. So I thought he's running a bit more bulk, especially special defense, for example. So the Ice Beam was kind of too much in my experience.
Yeah, but we see yet another Ice Beam onto the Circuitry, while the Circuitry goes for the Energy Ball, probably predicting the Marowak to switch in. It's going to do okay damage, but not great. The special defense falls, which is kind of a big one. Meanwhile, the Flare Blitz is going to come off. Is it going to target the Porygon 2? Probably, and how much damage is it going to do? Not quite half. The Arcanine takes almost more recoil.
Yeah, still a pretty difficult position for Melvin right now. Having your both one of his strongest attackers in the team right out there, having Tapu Lele in the back with a little bit of damage, a little bit of HP left. But anyway, I don't wanna think Michel. If he's Michel is playing this normally out, he should be always having the upper hand here.
Yeah, that is very, very true, but the Arcanine is going to switch out for the Intimidate onto that Marowak. Marowak being very dangerous in these last few turns of Trick Room. The Intimidate is going to go off on that Marowak, reduce its attack just a little bit, and we see the Circuitry protect. So relatively safe play from Melvin. Are we going to see some sort of punishment? No, we're not going to see the Shadow Bone onto the Circuitry. While the Ice Beam does target the Crocodile, it's going to be super effective and do quite a lot of damage, about half. I believe another Ice Beam will either KO or it will be just about a roll.
I don't think it's a roll, because Porygon isn't the Pokemon with the most special attack, but it's also decent. Crocodile likes his attack, his bulk is also more on the defense, it's a little bit better, but not in special defense. But Melvin got some pretty good switch-in options, because in this turn he could just switch out the Circuitry for his Arcanine, protect him with Crocodile, but gets him another Intimidate off and ripping off a turn of Trick Room. But we see a double protect and faded.
A double protect in both senses of the word. Both Pokemon trying to protect, but the double protect failing on the Circuitry, and we see the Boomerang probably even predicting an Arcanine switch in, and it is going to be able to knock out the Circuitry. Are we going to see an Ice Beam onto the Crocodile slot again? And it is a recover. Brilliantly done by Michele here. Porygon to recovering all that HP that Arcanine did to it turn before, but the Trick Room does end.
It ends, but it's still a very good position for Michele right now, because thought about this was the last round of Trick Room, and normally what you like to do against Trick Room is just protecting the last round, doesn't do anything, waiting till the Trick Room ends and then get your offensive pressure out and do anything. But Melvin still has a good chance here to deal a good amount of damage. Unfortunately, Porygon to use the recover, so if he hadn't used recover, or instead of Ice Beam, for example, or Ice Beam in the protect, it would be a way difficult position for Michele. But this is the reason why we see this guy ended up unbeaten in Swiss round.
Yeah, and we do see the Arcanine switching in from the low health Tapu Lele again, going for another Intimidate. The crunch from the Crocodile probably going to be just enough to knock out that Marowak, which it's not enough to knock out the Marowak. And we do see an Ice Beam onto the Crocodile slot probably, and is it going to knock out? It is just about enough to knock out Michele, breathing a sigh of relief there, because that could have ended up really badly for him. But we do see the Shadow Bone from the Marowak onto the Arcanine. It's not going to do quite as much after the Intimidate, but the defense drop is kind of big, especially if Michele has another physical attacker in the back.
It's a very interesting split Michele runs, because I thought Crunch would be enough, because if he's maybe running the Z Crystal, it should be an option, but he was like, okay, Crunch should be enough. I thought also it should be enough, but even having so much bulk, Shadow Bone after 2 Intimidates do a little bit more damage than I thought.
Yeah, loads of damage, but we do see the Flare Blitz onto the Porygon 2 slot right now, trying to redo that damage that he recovered just a turn before, but with so much recoil damage being done with the Life Orb and the natural Flare Blitz recoil, it's looking bad. But we see a Psychic onto the Porygon 2 with a critical hit! That is heartbreaking for Michaela. Maybe there's an out still for Melvin. And we see the Shadow Bone onto the Arcanine. It's going to finish it off, but with Melvin only having 1 or 2 HP left on this Tapu Lele, yeah, I think it's looking curtains for Melvin here.
It is, yeah, but Melvin needed the crit 1 turn earlier, maybe. But anyway, Porygon 2 was kind of the wall, he couldn't get through it.
So, that is very true.
Yeah, so we had Tapu Lele switching in, but Porygon 2 we had always in the first turn out on the field, and this is the reason why this Pokemon is so good. It's just stand there, and the option for recovery, for example, Crusader didn't have in the last years also. But you see in the Psychic and getting the knockout on Tapu Lele, having Michaela always still unbeaten here.
Yeah.
Congrats.
What a crazy, crazy undefeated run that Michaela is going through right now. That is 11 games of best of 3 Swiss, and he hasn't lost a single set yet.
Yeah, really, man. So he was the only player who's actually unbeaten. But guys, this isn't the last action for round 2 we got for you. We got the second match right now, and here we are.
We've got 2 of my really good friends, Thomas Plater versus William Tansley. We have a UK show-off right here, since we are in the UK to commentate this European International Championship. We haven't had quite as many UK players, but give it up for these 2 players. I believe we're going to be going into that match right now. Oh, it's going to be taking a little bit of time, but before that we can talk about their teams. I believe they have won the previous game as well, and we can talk about the teams right now. William Tansley is running Kartana, Tapu Koko, Raichu, Gigalith, Gyarados and Porygon 2, while Thomas Plater is running Makalola, Kartana, Milotic, Raichu, Arcanine and Tapu Lele.
Yeah, now we see the graphic right in time, yeah. Guys, it's cool. We don't read the 6 Pokemon again. But anyway, we saw on the right side William. We saw it already on stream yesterday, and he was pretty good. And like I said yesterday, William is a player who likes to get in risk mode after turn 2. This is the people stuff just he like, and I'm pretty curious how Thomas is to act like that, because they are both UK player, both know each other pretty well, I guess so.
Yeah. In fact, Tom Plater has, I believe, might be the favourite for this one, because he has been absolutely, wrecking the competition on the battle spot ladder. He has got a rating of 1750 above and above, but obviously he's also doing extremely well today. He's a game up against William Tansley already, but William Tansley is one of those best of 3 masters, knowing exactly how to adjust. And we see a Porygon 2 Gyarados lead from William Tansley, while Tom Plater goes for the Raichu Kartana.
Yeah, and seeing the Raichu combination out of here, hoping for the Tapu Koko lead, what William was always going to do, especially in the stream, not having the boost right now, but still being the fast Pokemon. It should be also a fast Pokemon. So very offensive lead by Thomas here right now, having this the small Kartana and the Raichu in front of Porygon 2 and Gyarados. Intimidate could be a thing on Kartana, because Fake Out and Sacred Sword would be a thing on Porygon 2, but anything, well, thanks to the Intimidate, he's in a good defensive position, William.
Yeah, and we do see Kartana switch out for the Muck, resetting the Intimidate on that. And we just see a simple Fake Out onto Porygon, not letting it set up any sort of trick runs. But speaking of setting up, William Tansley does go for the Dragon Dance.
Yeah, and you guys should know, but we also know Raichu isn't running with his Focus Sash, so you should be very careful with the Gyarados. So Thomas is in a... He don't run Tapu Koko, no he don't.
No.
So a play would be switching in Tapu Koko for a spot and having later the option to get a Thunderbolt off into Gyarados, but no Tapu Koko, no speedy Raichu out there. So this could also be now a little bit difficult for Thomas to come back after kind of huge Dragon Dance up.
Yeah, that's true, and Thomas only has the Arcanine in the back for the Intimidate, but we only see the Tapu Lele switch out right here, so that means Thomas does probably not have the Arcanine in back, because we did see the Kartana already. The Psychic Terrain does get set up, and he is carrying the Psychic Seed as well, just like Melvin K was in the game before, and Porygon 2 does switch out in favour of Kartana. We see another Kartana, double Kartanas from these 2 excellent UK players, and we see the Hydro Vortex probably from that Gyarados. Which target is it going to be? If he has targeted any of these targets, really, it's going to go down because with the Dragon Dance boost, it's just so dangerous.
It should be Mark. I'm pretty sure it's Mark because he had Raichu in front of it. So maybe predicting the switch into maybe Tapulele. Very interesting to just get so fast in the Hydro in the Water Z move. Good read by William actually. So congrats, sir.
Yeah, and we do see the taunt from the Yellow Muck onto the Kartana. I'm not entirely sure about that play.
Yeah, this was just about Porygon 2 because I don't think he was running off his Trick Room because if you have a +1 Gyarados next to you, you don't need. But maybe the recover option always. It's okay play because shutting down Porygon for supporting attacks, just have ability for like Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, Tri Attack and stuff. But maybe a knockoff would be more if he's running knockoff for sure. If he's running knockoff, maybe it would be a little bit more aggressive play. But Thomas, after his 1-0 lead, he likes to keep it more defense now.
Yeah, well, your knockoff would have been a good move to get the item off the Kartana, but we do see the boosted Waterfall onto the Muck, and we see the Sacred Sword onto the one Kartana. It's not going to be enough to knock out, but we see the Leaf Blade. How much are they going to do? Do we see a critical hit? We do not see a critical hit, but we do see the Poison Jab onto the Gyarados as well, knocking it out. That's a big threat out of the way for Thomas.
So that's how fast it can be. Katana is like Pheromona we saw in the first match, one of the Ultra Beasts who are very low, so much attack, so much speed actually, but the bulk isn't the best. But Katana is instead of physical bulk. Katana's physical bulk is huge.
Yeah, it has got very good physical bulk.
We saw Sacred Sword is a very effective hit and it did like, I don't know, 60-70%.
Yeah, that's true. With a typing like Leaf and Steel, it's such a defensive typing, but with that special defense, it's not going to be able to take any flamethrowers, really.
Yeah, and not even, I don't know, not even the Amber.
But yeah, we do see the Porygon switch in and get a boost in, I believe, the special attack.
Yeah, special attack. Finally, one of the rare moments when you have your Porygon 2 out and getting the special attack off, so that's something you like. But anyway, William now likes his position because having a Katana with full HP, most likely winning the speed tie in the last round from the other Katana. I don't think that's the reason why to run slower Katana. But seeing this Smart Strike into the Protect.
Brilliant Protect from Tom Plater's end, protecting the Muck from the Smart Strike. But we do see the Ice Beam onto the Katana. It's going to be enough to knock out despite the resistance. So yeah, William Tansley's Katana also able to take the opposing Sacred Sword.
Yeah, and the taunt went off, so Katana can finally protect now.
Yeah, wow.
Very important, yeah.
Was very important those last two turns. But we do see the Raichu come back in again. It's probably, does Raichu outspeed Kartana, depending on Thomas Plater's training?
Yeah, Thomas has a reason to play max speed Raichu because he's not running Tapu Koko, he's not relying on the Electric Surge, so he should have timid nature and max speed so he can outspeed other Katanas. Like you see, he could be a problem here, so with any attack Raichu is able to get the knockout here, but now we've seen the Z-move,
Shattered Psyche, probably onto that alone Raichu as we have been seeing for so much on stream today and yesterday. But we see the Shattered Psyche, it's possibly most likely going to be the target of the Porygon, just because, we see it on the Kartana, maybe he'll try to pull a switch. I think that's a little bit too much damage for the Kartana, I believe. Unfortunately, the Z-Crystal not going to quite as much use, but the Kartana does go down, thankfully. Meanwhile, the Muck can go for the taunt. William Tansley does shake his head. Maybe we see just a defensive move. We see the Trick Room, so quite a good read on Thomas Plater's end. Good turn overall, but the Z-Crystal was wasted.
It was wasted, yeah, because anything would happen if you were protect, you could knock out next round. So I don't see any reason why William should have switched out the Katana because it was an open target for everything. But having the Gigalith in the back, trying to get up the Trick Room for a very good position. But right now it's still decent because Gigalith is a huge beast. It's attack, thanks to the Sand Boost, defense and special defense. So he can quite well handle Muck and Raichu pretty well.
Yeah, and we do see Psychic onto the Gigalith. It's not going to do quite as much damage because of the Sandstream giving it a special defense boost. And we see the knockoff onto the Assault Vest, an Ice Beam targeting the Raichu. If we see a Rock Slide that connects, we see an Earthquake, and it's a Shuka Berry Alolan Muck, but will it be able to knock out? We might be seeing a double knockout in this turn depending on the Muck's training, but the Muck does hold on, but I don't think it can do much with this position.
No, thanks to Sugar Berry, again, one more turn, but unfortunately he wasn't able to get as much damage as he thought he could be. So here's the handshake, guys. Now having a 1-1, William Pensley won, most likely this round. This is also, but knowing about the Assault Wisp and Gigalith,
yeah,
we wasn't sure about his match on stream. I had commentating, but now we know it's definitely definitely the Assault Vest. I was curious because he faced Tapu Koko in, I don't know, round 4 I guess when I was commentating, and he took like 30% from a life from Tapu Koko Thunderbolt. But yeah, a little bit sad for Thomas here.
Yeah, he seems to be in good spirits still. Obviously the Kartana Mirror is a little bit of a crazy one because, you know, they can't one-hit KO each other, but they do have a super effective move, and it is those speed ties that might win them the game. But yeah, great performance by Will here.
Yeah, by far. And talking about the Katana speed ties, I'm very curious because I know the attack is huge, but the special attack is pretty low. What do you think when you are seeing more Katana speed ties out there? Maybe someone's running the hidden power of fire against the Katana?
It would probably knock out even with Katana's low special attack. Yeah,
I mean, even the water gun from everywhere picks a knockout on Katana.
Yeah, that's quite funny actually. But we are going to be jumping back into the game. Thomas Plater is running a team of Alolan Muck, Kartana, Alolan Raichu, Milotic, Arcanine and Tapu Lele, while William Tanzi is running the team of Katana, Tapu Koko, Alolan Raichu, Gigalith, Gyarados and Porygon 2. The Gigalith with the Assault Vest in the Sandstream, that is going to be taking lots of special hits, isn't it?
Yeah, it's taking too much damage, so it's one of the biggest wards actually I see in this whole tournament, next to Porygon 2, but with the option to deal a good amount of damage, because we've seen the Earthquake, by all the Psychic Mons, all the Poison Mons, always a good decision to put us, and maybe Rock Slide or Stone Edge. I maybe prefer more Stone Edge. I think I saw a Stone Edge, and this is the more huge play, because Stone Edge stab, with this attack is really huge. So you can invest as much in defense, special defense as you want. Your attack still keeps up a bit more higher.
Yeah, that is true, and we are going to be jumping into this game real soon. Give it up for Tom Plater and William Tansley on the left and right respectively, and we're going to be jumping into the leads. We are going to be seeing a lead from William Tansley of Kartana and Porygon 2, while Tom Plater does go for a lead of Raichu and Arcanine.
Yeah, having here now, still Thomas trying to be a little more offensive like last time, but still leading with Raichu. Fake out lead is always one of the things you want to have. It's comfortable, you can play. I don't think he's running Encore. I kind of miss Encore on the fast Pokemon, it's just only on the slow Pokemon. Anyway, getting Intimidate off into Katana is the thing. But I don't think Katana likes to stay in Arcanine, so it gets out for the Gigalith here. Always safe predict here from William. As long as you don't see a kind of a Will-Wisp from Arcanine. But you're seeing the fake out into the Gigalith spot.
Onto the Kartana spot, that's interesting. And we see the Raw protecting the Trick Room. Jamie Boyce, are you watching? Because you probably love this play right now. And the Kartana was dragged out. Raichu does take a little bit of Sandstream damage, as does the Arcanine. Well, William does take no Sandstream damage because the Kartana got switched in for the Porygon 2.
Welcome back Kartana into the Arcanine. Even if it doesn't have the boost, the Intimidate attack drop anymore, you still don't want to stay into Arcanine, because you can just deal a little bit of damage on Arcanine, but Arcanine gets always a chance to get the knockout easily on you. But then we see the Gyarados getting Intimidate again off onto the the first time into the Arcanine. Kind of safe predict, because I don't think you're going to see the fake out here.
But he predicted a protect. He's going all out on these predictions, and we'll probably see a flamethrower onto the Gyarados slot as well. This allows William to just go for a big earthquake, and without the Intimidate boost, I believe we're going to see a double knockout, especially with Gyarados being able to be immune to that earthquake due to the Levitate ability. And we do see a knockout on that Raichu. That was a very risky switch from William, because what if Tom Pater went for the Thunderbolts?
Yeah, he could. He always had the action. But I think Thomas was constrained. He was too proud of the roar, actually, that he was like a little bit too.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he don't want to play safe anymore. So he was like, okay, I can play the offensive way. I want to get rid of the katana to have my own katana in the back to deal always the good damage, especially against the Gigalith. But now we're talking about the katana. Now we're seeing it.
Yeah, we do see the Katana. At this time, the Gyarados does not have the attack boost, but the Gigalith is looking very dangerous. I mean, you can just Earthquake him again, which would make the Arcanine faint. The Katana is going to take a lot of damage from the Earthquake as well, but maybe combined with the Gyarados move, maybe it won't be able to take them.
Yeah, I think so. But Gyarados don't like to stay in Katana because only physical attacker, what can do a good, very effective attack, don't like to hit it because Waterfall, Wartium Z, Ice Fang are the most common attacks. Not so much effect on Katana because it resists every water type attack and only a normal hit with Ice Fang. So we're seeing a switch out from Gigalith into his Katana.
Katana, yeah. A little bit risky as well. Thomas did predict this. This could be dangerous. But we do see a Leaf Blade onto the Katana. Great switch from William Tansley. While we see a Dragon Dance from William Tansley's Gyarados. If we see a roar here, then maybe... oh, he's grinning. I believe we're going to see another roar. And out goes that Gyarados again.
Great prediction by both players, Thomas and William. It's also very interesting how roar can also be used. Normally run it just for Trick Room, because you act before Trick Room, so you don't give your opponent the chance to get the Trick Room off. But on the other hand, you can always roar at two mighty Pokemon after the boosts. So why not?
Yeah, I believe William Tansley probably had his fair share in VGC 16 when he had his Xerneas roared out quite a lot. But yeah, what do you think of this position really for either player?
I like William's position more because having the Porygon 2 on the field could get a little bit of damage by Katana Arcanine, so you have always the option to get out and get to the Gyarados, for example.
Yeah, the Gyarados does come out. It does go for it does use that Intimidate ability to great effect. William's Katana is probably in two ranges, but we do see the Protect. Unless Tom Plater did predict this again, he is going all out with these predictions, but we do just see the Sacred Sword onto the Katana and another roar into that slot. He does not want that Gyarados out. Get out of here.
Yeah, and as long Arcanine don't care about Intimidate of him because most likely he looks like he's special, so he don't care about. But Katana don't like the Intimidates off, so he took kind of too much. So he don't want to stay in this group here because he can't deal good amount of damage against Katana. The damage against Gigalith isn't great. Now William is in a better position because you can't have always the raw luck. So switching out the Katana, for example, Gyarados and Earthquaking again, nothing is against it. As long as we can get a Kanye knockout. Yeah,
that's true. And I think Tom Plater is focusing a little bit too much on those roars because now the Gyarados does have another chance to switch in and get off yet another Intimidate. This is not a great position for Tom. He does have one Pokemon already knocked out, so he doesn't have the luxury of the switches quite as much anymore. But we do see this Katana is going to switch out in favour of the Muck, not wanting to take another Intimidate. Meanwhile, we're going to see a Gigalith withdrawal from William Tansley's end into the Gyarados. It's going to drop the attack on the Arcanine. Doesn't matter quite so much, but maybe it will matter a little bit on that Muck.
Yeah, maybe fearing about... we didn't saw Snarl or Will-O-Wisp, right?
Oh, wow.
So it could be one of it, but wow, we see a knockout.
I believe that was Katana going for a move on the Arcanine. We do see an attack boost on the Katana right now. I believe this might be a really bad position for Tom right now because with the Beast boost, Katana does get an attack boost, which means Tom's Katana is probably in range of the Sacred Sword from William Tansley's Katana.
Yeah, and knowing about the fact Katana is definitely the MVP here right now for both players because at the start of the tournament, I don't thought Katana would had so much impact in the metagame, but having a quite decent bulk thanks to the special to his defense, it's pretty cool. But we're seeing double protect here, just watching out what Muck is going to do. Knockoff also into protect.
Yeah, maybe he was just scouting out. William was just trying to scout out a protect from Tom, make him protect so that he can't protect the next turn. Well, at least not without a double. But you know, Will can really punish this next one.
Yeah, completely safe play by William here, because he gets the upper hand. If he just don't make any big mistakes, he's about to take his win and one of the first person who gets 2-0 into the next round.
Yeah, that's going to be a knockout because of the Beast Boost, but the Focus Sash does let it cling on just about, and we see the Katana, Wizard Katana go for the Leaf Blade. Is it going to be enough? The critical hit? No, I don't think so, but we are going to see it have a Beast Boost. Thomas Plater is losing all of these speed ties unless we see a knockoff. It's going to knock off the Katana and knock off the Focus Sash as well. Well, both players running the Focus Sash on their Katanas.
Yeah, this is one of the best, also in my opinion, because you like to have at least one Focus Sash on team when you are a little bit of more offensive way, but this could be now very interesting because I was kind of too fast because it's everything open for Thomas. So maybe it depends on the Katana speed tie here. If William is going to attack with Katana and Thomas know about this, and we see just a simple speed up, speed tie Katana versus Katana, but also it could be just a double hit into the Porygon 2 to just prevent any attack on Katana. So it's going to be a predict right now. If Katana from William is going to protect, and if Thomas is going to attack Katana or Porygon 2.
That is true. The ball really is in Thomas Plater's park right now. If he doesn't get this prediction correct, he is going to lose the game. And he does Sacred Sword of Porygon. It's not going to knock it out. And we do see the opposing Katana go for a Sacred Sword. It's going to knock Thomas's Katana out. And I believe that might be game. With his Katana going down, William Taz is going to get yet another Beast Boost. And this Muck, it might go for the knockoff onto the Porygon. It's going to knock off the Eviolite, but I don't think Muck versus the World is a viable, well, maybe with a Trick, or maybe...
Yeah.
Oh, with a Gigalith in the back,
it's
then I think,
yeah. So. Anyway, yeah, Thomas had kind of quite a chance, but William also, I think it was still open for both because Porygon is such a... So, he survived both attacks, so Thomas wasn't thinking about this, he could survive both attacks, so anyway...
we do see the recover.
Why not stalling a little bit out? Maybe Thomas tried to get something out, but anyway, there's no really a good chance for Thomas to come back here. Really great play by William. Or maybe he gets poison off.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. Yeah, against
with the Beast Boosts and a Smart Strike like here with 2 Beast Boosts, it's going to be quite a lot of damage onto this Muck.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, almost knocking it out. That is crazy.
Yeah, and switching later, the Giggle is in for the Sandburn. There's nothing you can do actually. So. Like we said 2 turns ago, William had the upper hand. He didn't. He played it very good down. When you have a leading position, it's always important that you keep cool and always play like you have to.
Yeah, and Tom does forfeit there. You see the handshake. These two guys know each other quite well. Tom it seems a little bit upset, but he's still in high spirits because he has only lost 2 games in the best in this